Hi, my name is Tony Gray, and I'm going to be doing some lessons for the iBass magazine. And I'd just like to say it's a real privilege and an honor for me to be doing this. It's a fantastic magazine and a great resource for bass, equipment, musicians, interviews, and lessons. And again, it's just a real privilege for me to be doing it. And I hope you enjoy these lessons. So what I'm going to be doing is basically lessons and subjects that I feel get a little bit overlooked, and it's something that I really feel strongly about. So the first lesson I'm going to be talking about is melodic development. Now, we all have our favorite musicians and our favorite bands, our favorite melodies and songs, and there's a reason for this, and that's because we connect to the music and to the ideas. It isn't just a bunch of random notes or random rhythms or a bunch of chops thrown at you. It's just a lot of really coherent ideas. Even if they're subtle, we can connect to it. And what I really want to do is just bring your attention to this kind of playing, because, and I've been guilty of it too, and that's when the spotlight goes on us, when it's our time to take a solo, one of two things can really happen to us. We can either freeze with panic and fear and really have no control over anything that we're doing. So we can either just start playing random stuff or just trying to play fast, trying to sound good for whatever reason, or even worse, in my opinion, is we have the ability to do this, but we choose not to, and the ego kind of takes over, where we might spot somebody in the crowd we're trying to impress, and we start kind of doing these licks and tricks and playing as fast as we can all over the instrument and not really connecting the dots, or not really respecting the thing that we actually love about music, which is a really, really sad thing, and it's a really common thing in music, and the problem with that is, the audience really want to connect with what you're doing. The bandmates really want to connect with what you're doing, and no one really cares about you showing off. It doesn't really matter. It's music. You've got to respect it. You've got to understand what you're doing. You've got to be in control of what you're doing. Sometimes it's great to play fast and play all your licks and stuff, but there has to be a choice that serves the music. So I just want to make you really aware of that. And hopefully the examples that I'm going to show for you are going to kind of unlock or confirm what I'm talking about. So one of the melodies that is a really good example of melodic development is Beethoven's Fifth. Now, this is arguably the most recognizable melody in the history of music, or recorded music, and there's a reason for that. It's a bunch of simple ideas that is just developed and developed melodically, and it's like kind of watching a beautiful tree or flower grow, It's like this idea, and you just watch it and watch these beautiful branches come out and these different ideas come out and things are attracted to it, and, that's what music is all about to me. So I'm going to play you the idea. It basically starts off with 3 repeated notes followed by another interval. Now, he's taking that idea rhythmically and just playing it in a different area. Going back to the original idea, which is really important, to come back to the ideas that you have. So from the top, and from here, this is where it starts to really develop melodically. The rhythm of the notes is the same, but the duration of the rhythms start to get a little bit shorter as it develops. So you can hear that again from the top. So you can hear the ideas starting to really develop now. But it's all still very connected, and it's very beautiful, and like I said, it's like watching something grow. So that's the beginning of Beethoven's Fifth. And if you don't know this song, you're not aware of it, please check it out. Classical music is a fantastic example of melodic development. And in jazz music, you have these amazing musicians. 2 musicians that immediately come to mind when I'm talking about melodic development is Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter. And when they were playing back in the day with Miles Davis's band, the interaction between these 2 guys, especially when Wayne was soloing, was phenomenal. Herbie would hear all these different rhythms he was throwing out and, subtly comp to them. And it was just gorgeous listening to these guys go at it. And Miles Davis, of course, such beauty and really simple melodic ideas and just inverting them and developing them. It's just improvisation at its best, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to improvise over a track that I've composed, and hopefully I'm going to be practicing what I preach, which is basically taking ideas that I come up with. It's all improvised. I'm just coming up with ideas. I'm being aware of the ideas I'm creating, and I'm just trying to develop them in a way that doesn't sound like an example. So every now and again I'll go off and go astray and do whatever I feel like I need to do, but hopefully I'll keep coming back to ideas, or I'll keep developing new ideas and seeing what comes out of those. You know, it's kind of hit or miss, so I recommend that you just kind of be mindful, and that's basically the start of this whole process. So another good way of doing this is playing over chords from different keys. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing over 2 chords from different keys. I'm playing over an E flat major chord. So I'm thinking E flat major scale, and I'm also using kind of an A flat sus chord, which is, I'm thinking more of a D flat major. So I'm going from an E flat major tonality to a D flat major tonality. So this way I'm not relying on one scale, you know, I'm relying on my rhythmical ideas, and I'm just kind of trying to move them in between these keys. So hopefully it makes a bit of sense to you. And I just want to mention before I go, I have an online academy, the Tony Gray Bass Academy. There's lots of courses on this kind of stuff: melodic development, ear training, harmony, technique, songwriting, soloing, grooving, bass line, you name it. It's kind of all in there, and it's all in this kind of format. So if you're interested, just check out the link, www.tonygray-bass-academy, and hopefully I'll see you in there. So I hope you enjoyed the track, I hope you've enjoyed the lesson, and I hope it's given you some food for thought and given you something for moving forward. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Thank you.